from WPPI, SPTV, and I've got Suzette Allen as my next guest. And I can't think of a better title than the Queen of Hybrid. If you've followed Suzette online or over the years, you've seen her constantly change the look of her work, her style, her creativity. She is without question the Queen of Hybrid. She's putting together still images with video. I've got a couple of great things of hers on the SCU site. And most fun of all, we both share a love for Panasonic Lumix and work closely with Lumix cameras. And the logical tie-in here, including my last guest, which was Amanda from Photodex, is being able to take still images and video and sound, put all three of those together into creating a great product for your client. So, welcome, Queen. I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy.
Thank you.
So,
it's great
let's
to be
just
here.
talk about hybrid for a minute,
Okay.
and then I'm going to step out of this and you're going to take it over.
Okay.
To me, the greatest advantage of all is having a new product. But you've got to know how to have gotten the great images to begin with, and a little bit of video.
Right.
Talk about your love for hybrid and the way you're using it now with clients.
Well, it's part of my every session now. As I take my stills, I do a little bit of video. And the more you do video, the more you want to do video. And it's like learning another language. So I'm doing a little bit of video with everybody, and I'm learning to capture different things, and it is so fun to make a completely new product that says so much more about my client.
Am I right that your core business as a photographer is primarily family portraiture?
Yeah, families
Okay.
and seniors, yeah.
Which, if everybody thinks about it, there's that very thin line between family portraiture and wedding and children. It all plays to the ability to bring in video and still images and tell a better story.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn it over to you and just, walk away for a while, because you've got a captive audience here. So everybody,
Awesome.
It's Suzette Allen, the Queen of Hybrid.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be able to share this with everyone. It's completely changed my perspective on photography. So let's get into my program here. I'm calling it moving portraits because
You didn't know you were married
portraits
to the
that
Queen. Well, yes,
move are moving to the heart as well. So what is hybrid? A lot of people are not sure what it is. It's photo plus audio plus video. And for me, a hybrid product is less than a minute. It's filmed organically. That means I'm shooting a family and I'm doing the stills, I'm adding in video, and it's all part of the session. And all the clips are very, very short, maybe 10 seconds or so, and they're trimmed down to say 5 to 7. It shows a lot more personality, and it's very storytelling. This right here is my favorite and my very first e-product. It's only 33 seconds. Let me show it to you. Awesome. I love the virtual snow. That's my favorite part. But doesn't that say so much more about the client and the family and all the fun? And people are really paying attention to this. They love it. So let me show you a few other examples. How about high school seniors? I'm making these for Instagram, and I'm leveraging them for marketing with social media. So let's check out a couple of them. These are 15 seconds long, and they play on Instagram. two were made from the same template. And it's amazing how it completely changes the flavor and the pace with the music, and it tells such a different story. I love the way video just completely changes the depth. Oh, I have one more. That's a fun one that I did underwater experimenting. It's only 9 seconds long and it's just pure fun. But seniors love this and they can put it on Instagram and Facebook and push it out there. And what I'm trying to do is get people to take their e-products and push them out to market for me because it gets so much attention. Okay, so here's a couple other examples. We've got some couples. Now, I love photographing couples. They're such a natural for video because they interact so beautifully. I love this. Isn't that gorgeous? These guys are actually playing this at their wedding. But this was so beautifully done. I love the way the black and white and the color comes together. That's actually made with ProShow Web from Photodex. And it's so easy. You just upload the pictures and the videos, pick the music, and it puts it all together for you. Now that's where you can afford to spend the time to do these and show them to your clients and blow them away. It goes together really quickly. All right, how about families? Families are natural also. I usually have families do group hugs and walk together and just tease each other and all kinds of fun things. And I think my sessions have changed a lot because I like the bread and butter, nice pose, classical portraiture, but I've completely changed my style over the past couple of years because of hybrid. Now it's so much playtime. I love it. The kids are doing funny things and they're walking together and playing together and doing games and laughing, and it's a great experience, and that's what we're selling today, an amazing experience. Let's check out a couple of these. So that was a 10-second pocket portrait, very, very short, one little video clip and two stills. Here's another one. This one's really fun. The little boys, their dad was out of town for a birthday, so this is what they sent him for his birthday. Okay, you guys gonna do a little birthday dance? There you go. Okay, are you ready?
Travel near, travel far. If I could just be where you are, we'd have a show like performers living life on the go. And I'd tame bears and tigers just as long as I could walk on a white, jump through a fire for you, hang from my knees on a trapeze while you make me spin. Yes, you make.
Kids are so much fun with video, and there's so much personality. I love it. So here's another product, talking business cards. And this one is a little bit more advanced because it requires using audio and a microphone, so you have good audio. You know, if it's laughter and that kind of stuff, you can use the on-camera mic, but if you need good audio, like for a talking business card, you're gonna need to get a microphone. And I use the GH4, which has a microphone input, and I can monitor as well, and it does a great job. So let me show you an example of a talking business card.
Hi, I'm Rosangela McCann. I'm a professional makeup artist and entrepreneur. I work with Motives Cosmetics by Lauren Reidinger and Motives for Lala, which is a high-end customizable makeup line. I like to mentor and empower other makeup artists so they can work in teams and create different streams of income so they can accomplish their dreams and their passion. I love the opportunity to help you follow your dreams and passions for beauty.
The nice thing about talking business cards is a lot of times it turns into other commercial jobs. Like for this one, she didn't have any of that video of her makeup and her putting on makeup and all that, so we ended up shooting some other things. And we've done realtors as well, where we would go on location, film them with their clients, film them, well, they usually have pictures of their houses, but of course we do better ones. So it always turns into more jobs that way. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about how we put all this together. And I want to tell you how to spin your story, because all of this is about storytelling and it creates such a buzz. What is all the buzz? Does it work? Yes, it brings people in the doors. I have a lot of clients who come back every single year. I do Christmas cards every year, and every year it's like, oh, what are we going to do that's better than last year? Everyone who's seen the hybrid's like, that's what we're doing next year. And so it does bring in the people, and it creates a lot of buzz. I remember back in the 80s when we started lighting basketballs and tennis balls on fire. It was awesome. Everybody was like, oh, that's so cool. Not very many people bought it, but it didn't matter. It brought them in the door, right? So I think that the value of offering something new and fresh, that in itself is going to set you apart and actually maybe get you the job as opposed to someone else who's not offering that. So what's so special about you? Like for me, I'm a hybrid photographer. I do this, and nobody else in my city does. So that sets me apart. It is also a premium product. People look at the videos and they know they can't make them. Now, they can take pictures and they look at our pictures, they look at their pictures like, oh, they kind of look the same to them, but they compare their videos and look at our videos, they know they can't do it. So it sets you apart as a professional. Gives you a professional edge, and I'm really using it for marketing leverage. So I'm pushing out the videos to all of my clients, so they have a session fee and they have a minimum order, and then the e-product comes with it. And I'm giving it to them, I'm pushing it out there, so encouraging them to put it on social media and market for me. Okay, so let's talk about, we're going to show you equipment, approach, a workflow, software, and delivery, because it's all a new territory. So let's get going on that. For equipment, I'm using a mirrorless camera. I have a DSLM, a Lumix GH4. I also have a GX7, and I use the FC1000. Using a mirrorless camera is a completely different visual experience, because when you look through the eyepiece, you actually see what you're shooting. Let's say you want to do a black and white video and you want to shoot it square for Instagram. You literally see it black and white and square in the viewfinder instead of imagining what it would be like. It also means that's pre-processing. So pre-processing saves you time and allows you to shoot even videos exactly the way you want them. Video with a mirrorless camera is also seamless. The autofocus works. So with the DSLR, you usually don't have autofocus, but you do with the DSLM mirrorless. And it goes between stills and video seamlessly, and it's much easier to learn video actually, because you can switch between the two seamlessly. Now, another merit of the mirrorless camera is the FZ1000 has a high-speed sync. It'll sync up to 1/4000th of a second. That's awesome. Of course, that doesn't apply to video, but that's a nice thing about mirrorless cameras. Now, here's the biggest thing, 4K future. So we can film in 4K video, and that is pretty amazing. Let me tell you a little bit about it. First, this is the camera system I use. You can go to my website, SuzetteAllen.com, and all this is on there. You can check it out in detail. And And the FZ1000 is the other camera I was talking about. This, everybody is super excited about. For a $900 price range, people are able to get into the world of mirrorless and 4K video. You need to check this out for sure. Okay, now don't forget, when you start shooting video, especially 4K video, you're going to need more SD cards. That means the U3 cards. That's going to give you fast enough cards to film in 4K. And you're going to need more hard drive space. You definitely need a tripod. It doesn't have to be a video tripod, but at least a tripod. And if you're going to do studio stuff, maybe LED lighting and perhaps audio. Let's talk a little bit about video formats. There's MOV, AVC HD, and MP4. For the most part, you're going to stick with MOV or MP4. I typically avoid AVC HD. The workflow is much simpler with the others. Now, if you're shooting a DSLR, you probably only have the MOV format. And how about video quality? A lot of people are not so sure about this. 720p is HD, 1080p is called Full HD, and 4K is Ultra HD. So you can look at the pixel dimension here and see that it is much bigger file. So here we go. In 4K, if you shoot 4K video, the still frames that you pull out of the video are large enough to go for a wall portrait. In fact, we're over in the other trade show with Panasonic, and we have a 30 by 30 inch print and a 20 by 30 inch print that are images pulled from these videos. It is amazing, the quality. So a lot of times when you're photographing fast motion, let's say it's sports or just squirrely little kids like these two little guys on the motorcycles, you're shooting a lot, hoping to catch the moment, right? How fast do our cameras shoot? Maybe 8-10 frames per second. But if you shoot 4K video, it's 30 frames per second. You're not hoping to get the shot, you got the shot. So like with these little boys, they were so crazy. They're high-fiving each other and carrying on. So I just rolled video and I pulled the frames later. I actually got 2 frames, one of each kid looking good, and put them together because that moment never happened. But 4K video is such a game changer. Now, let me talk to you about frame rates. So 60p is kind of for your smoothest motion, and there's a rule that you double your frame rate and that gives you shutter speed. So you would shoot at 1/25. If you shoot 30p, that's kind of the internet standard, and also if you're doing 4K, it has to be 30p. So that would mean you should shoot at a 60th of a second. 24p is more cinematic, and you shoot at a 50th. Most of your DSLRs only have 24p. Now, what if you're shooting 4K for the purpose of pulling a still? If you're shooting at a 60th of a second, and let's say you do sports, they're all going to be blurred, right? Every frame's going to be blurred. So here's when you break that rule, right here. We photographed these football guys kicking, and if we had shot at a 60th of a second, that ball would have been a total blur. So we shot this at a 1,000th of a second, so every single frame of the video was nice and sharp. So that's when you selectively break that rule on purpose for the purpose of pulling out stills out of your video. Okay, so my approach for hybrid is to use one camera. I'm shooting my stills and the video from that, and I'm seamlessly transitioning between. I do short clips. I'll do a couple stills, and then I'll do a short clip, and I'm going back and forth. Everything I shoot stills of, I do a little bit of video of. I also have routines. You know how we all have one-liners where we get people to laugh and smile? Hey. You're going to get routines also with hybrid, ways to get people to interact and little routines to have them do that makes great video. And using music is the easiest way. You just mute the audio in the video and add the music into the finished piece. There's a lot of great music included with ProShow Web, which I use a lot, and I also use triple scoop music. Okay, how about workflow? Here's my workflow. I import it into Lightroom right along with all my stills. Then I watch each video. Now, there's usually quite a few to watch, and once you've watched 1 or 2 or 3, you can't remember what they are. So here's what you do. You watch them, and then if it's a keeper, I usually flag it red. And then I move to the next one, and I just flag the keepers that I definitely want to use red. Then I come back, and then I trim them in Lightroom. It's super easy to just trim the ends to get just the part that you want. So then I export them out of Lightroom into another folder, and those are the trimmed pieces ready to put into a final piece. And then I choose my music. Then let's talk about software. You need software to put together the finished file. So I've used Lightroom to trim it, and I use ProShow Web to put together a lot of my shows. It's one of the easiest and fastest ways to put together a show. And then I also use a hybrid lab where we can use a template, and I'll explain that in just a minute. Now, if you want to do a custom show, I personally use Photoshop Creative Cloud. You can edit video. Now, it's kind of video editing light, but I've managed to do tons of shows and beautiful stuff. The nice thing about Creative Cloud, or Photoshop, most people already have it. It's already paid for. You already know your way around it. So it's a great way to break into hybrid. Now, if you want to get into serious video editing and do a lot more, I would recommend Premiere or Final Cut. So I have a couple ways to do speedy auto creation. ProShow Web is probably my favorite. Let me show you what one of those shows looks like. This is a high school senior. I love that theme. All the effects and the tilts and the swirls and the lights and all that's part of the template. I just pick my stills and videos, upload it, and it does all the rest. That's easy. I love it. So what I love about ProShow Web is it's unstructured and it's super fast to make it. It's easy to learn. My first one, I just got in there and poked around and figured it out. It's not difficult at all. So you upload all the pieces, it puts it together. Now, one thing you have to know is the short and sweet settings, because by default, it will take all your pictures and take your music and fit the pictures to the music. That's so boring. Like if you have 12 images and you stretch them out over a 3-minute song, not going to be good. So you just have to go in the custom settings and choose energy, take the energy all the way up, and to custom, and then take it to the fastest speed, and then it's perfect. It'll make nice, short shows. They also provide music and hosting, which is really great. So here's what the interface looks like. Now, one thing I love about ProShow Web, it's very similar to Animoto, and Animoto is great too. But with Animoto, if you build a show and you want to change something, you have to rebuild it, and hopefully you like the new one. And if you want to change something, you rebuild it, and it completely changes every time. Where this, if I want to modify my show, I can actually go in and see and change every single transition, timing, or whatever. Keep the stuff I like and just change the 1 or 2 things I don't. So I really love the flexibility of that. So here's my other speedy auto creation way, and this is the Hybrid Lab. So hybridlab.pro will actually allow you to use an e-template, and you would upload the images and the videos to a template, and they will make it and send it back to you finished. Now that's really easy and fast, but it's a little more structured, so you kind of have to shoot for it. For this particular template, I've got 2 stills, a 3-second video, 3 stills, a 5-second video, a still, a video, still. So let's take a look at what that looks like. That's a super easy template to use. I've actually populated it and used it for 10 different things, and they all look completely different, even though it's the same template. It's really useful. Okay, so using e-templates are a little bit more structured. You do have ultimate control, but it is a set number of stills and videos and the set length of the videos. That means you may have to shoot specifically. I need a 3-second, I need a 4-second, I need a 5-second. So that's something you would do after you've been shooting video for a little while. It is created at hybridlab.pro. It's repeatable, and therefore easy to sell. If people can see it and they know what they're expecting, it's easier to sell them on it. Now right now it's not so mainstream that people are asking for it yet. I'm promoting myself with it. Now if they want something custom, absolutely I want to sell it, but I'm trying to just get the word out there and market and educate the public about hybrid. So right now I'm doing these speedy ways to make hybrid pieces and get them out there in social media, just for education. Okay, here's a couple custom videos. As I said, I use Photoshop, Creative Cloud, or Premiere, and then of course there's Final Cut, iMovie, Vegas. There's a lot of stuff out there. Now delivery is another topic. So how do you deliver a video? Well, you can't email it. Even a 9-second video is like 27 megs. They're huge. So the best thing to do is host it somewhere and send them the link. You can do downloads. If people really want the file, you can put them in Dropbox, or I use SmugMug. My whole website's on SmugMug, so I host my own images on my website because I want the traffic. And then I can actually sell downloads from my store. SmugMug is one of the, I think there's only 2 companies out there that can allow your clients to buy a video download from your site. Okay, so this is what my site looks like, and when they see their previews, this is the gallery, and I have these pretty much not copyright protected. I have these pretty much not password protected because I want people to get in there and see a lot of them, so I use it for marketing. So you can go in there and see all of those on my website. When they click on it, there's actually a place for a message. So I'm using this for Christmas cards and getting people to come to my website to see the Christmas cards. If they want to buy a video, this is what the interface looks like. So let's talk a little bit about the business cards. I already showed you an example. I'm finding that with business people, there's no resistance. They see that and there's no question what they would do with it. They love the idea. And it's pretty easy to film. It's usually a studio or a setup situation. You don't have to worry about autofocus because you're just filming a person talking usually. You do have to use audio equipment. And I've found there's usually a certain amount of coaching involved because some people just can't quite write their script, so you need to help them and help them keep it short too. You know, you're trying to keep it down to 12 seconds and people just go on and on, so you got to help them write it short and also help them choose better words. Then there's some people who do great at writing the script and they look terrified on camera. So you have to be a cheerleader and getting them laughing, and so there's a lot of coaching in there, but it's so rewarding. It's also something you really can't hurry with. So it's one of those things that it's a premium product. I definitely price it higher than the others, but it's so valuable. Now my talking business cards, I don't put on my website. I host them on myecard.pro, and that's a site that allows people to go and see the cards. Now when I upload it, this is what my interface looks like, and this is what it looks like when it plays. And I can actually customize the name and the information about it, and I can give my client a password to get in there and change their own call to action and make a custom little bar that's attached to the end of all of their emails. But here's the best part, the statistics. They can actually go to the site and see the statistics of how many people have watched their e-card. I mean, where can you get that kind of information? That is so powerful. So that's why I put them on this site for that. It's also optimized for every device. So it plays consistently on the different kinds of phones and computers. So I tell people to start today. It's a simple system. Start with natural light and reflector, because getting into LED lights and stuff, that's another hurdle to pass. But if you go outside and do natural light with reflectors, you can get beautiful stuff. And I tell people to do a video and stills of each set. So anything you take stills of, do a little video. Even if you're not going to use it, you need to get into the habit of doing it. And it does help when you put together the finished e product to have a video and a supporting still, or a still and a supporting video. It actually tells the story much smoother. You also need to develop a habit. I know when I first started, my main goal was just to remember to take video, just because we get in our zone. I tell people to begin the journey now. Right now, people aren't asking for video every day, but it's not going to be too far off that people will be expecting all of us professionals to not only shoot stills, but also video. So here's a few good tips. Let people play and be themselves, and do simple motion. It doesn't have to be super complex. I tell people to shoot JPEGs too, because they match the videos. You don't want to have to be processing your RAWs to match your videos. And only do short clips. Truth be told, people really don't look good longer than about 5 seconds on video anyway. Remember the head and the tail. You have to do a couple extra seconds at the beginning and the end of every video. That will make sure that you have the full clip of the good part that you want to use. One thing I've found with hybrid is I'm seeing in a completely new way. It's like a new language, and it is so much fun. I haven't had this much fun with photography in decades. And people love it, and it's so personal, and it's just a fabulous way to grow in our businesses and expand our offerings, and also be thinking of the future. So here's some resources for you. You can go to my website, SuzetteAllen.com, and I have a bunch of videos on YouTube.com. You can also follow the Lumix Luminaries. I'm one of the talent team members for the Lumix cameras, and that's on LumixLounge.com. There's 12 of us, and we all do completely different stuff. You can also check out the Lumix gear at shop.panasonic.com. I also have a lot of hands-on classes. You can learn all over the country. You'll have to check out the schedule on my website. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to Bay Photo and Lumix, and also Photodex and Triple Scoop Music, my favorite sponsors. Thank you so much.